Inkie peeps, it's Adele from Inkie Quill, and today I'm doing a little behind the scenes. I'm teaching at a retreat in a couple of weeks, and I'm teaching a 2.5-hour class where we create these two layouts but not using these papers. So for the class, I'm making some new samples using the papers that they do get, and so I thought I would make them along with you and kind of give you the class, the little mini class over here on Patreon. So the class is all about using punches to make quick, easy layouts after you've done all the punching. The punching is not quick, but it's all about using punches in kind of creative ways instead of just using them as a single shape, sticking it on, done. But by clustering them and kind of using punches en masse, I guess you could say, to kind of give your layouts a bit more spunk. So there's process videos for both of these over on my Inkie Quill YouTube channel. This was a more recent one that I did of Archie Beans, and then this one was, it's a 2016 layout, but I did the video last year sometime, and I made all of these little DIY embellishments to go on there. So the first thing I'm going to do off camera, because you don't need to watch me, is punch out my shapes. So they're getting, the idea behind the retreat, the owner of the retreat wants people to use their stash more. So they're not, usually I work with big kits, which is kind of freaking me out slightly with this retreat because I'm used to working with lots of stuff, and I don't get a lot of stuff with this one, but we're going to work with it. We'll see how we go. So they're getting 2 pieces of cardstock. It's the basil white, so it's not marshmallow, it's got a slight texture to it, but it's the basil white. And then this paper, which is an older crepe paper, 2014 open book, and this one's called Little Notes, and I'm mainly using it for this side. These were the papers that I was given to, so I didn't pick these papers, they were the ones that I was given to create the class. This is an older simple stories called Summer Vibes. So it's got some cut aparts. I'm going to avoid the greens and oranges. I'm not sure how this is going to work. They're not my colours, but we'll see. And a doily. And then I'm giving people also some little glitter hearts, tissue paper, notebook paper, dictionary paper, Hearty Shines, and I think that's it. People are bringing their own alphas and their own punches. So I'm trying to, I did these ones with hearts, so I'm going to try and make some that have different punch shapes. So I'm going to get to punching, but before I do, I'm going to probably cut these up into the little sections first, just so I can see what I've got to play with. And also grab some note paper and do some on note paper as well, and then I'll come back in and we'll put the layouts together and I'll talk you through it. Alrighty, time to get to the making part. Now this is the layout that I'm basing this off. I'm scrap lifting myself, and if you're stuck for ideas, that's a great way to kind of reinvigorate your mojo. Oh, we're very bright. We do go the normal color in just a moment. Off camera, I have actually done a couple of steps just so that you didn't have to watch me do all of the fiddly bits and pieces. I have matted this photo first on a piece of white tissue paper, then on a piece of dotted graph paper, then on the leftover word paper that I had after punching out these shapes. And so all I did is I used, I think it's a 2-inch circle punch that I got ages ago from Lincraft here in Australia. I got too much glue, so I was just borrowing some glue, as I always get too much glue on the first go. It's just too keen, Adele, too keen, calm down. And so all I did with these shapes is I punched out, first of all, any that were in those small squares on the cut apart page. Then I punched out some smaller circles if there were leftover bits, and then I did some stars with the very tiniest scraps. And it's important here to start off, especially if you're playing with scraps, to start off with your biggest punch shapes first, because you're more likely to run out of space for them if you start with the small ones and then have barely any paper left. So that's my top tip. Next, I stapled some large circles, some 1-inch circles. I think there's some scalloped 1-inch circles and some stars, and also some glitter stars that I had from my stash. And I didn't organize where I was putting all of these. I'm just popping them anywhere. And if you can hear Archie in the background, he's just had dinner. He's in the kitchen with Aaron. He's just had dinner, and I think he's quite pleased with how dinner went, because he's doing cute little num num noises in the background. Then what I did on that crepe paper piece of paper, the great thing about that is that it has all of these little phrases. So instead of needing to use tiny word stickers, I just cut out a few of my favorite phrases, and I'm just sticking them higgledy-piggledy all over the circles. And I'm not doing it on every circle. I think I only end up doing 3 or 4, but it just kind of gives the circles a little bit extra and makes them more of an embellishment rather than just the background. It kind of gives them a bit more of a purpose. I had these teeny tiny gold hearts that I cut out using my Fiskars handheld star punch. It kind of looks like a 1-hole punch. And I'm just dotting them around the place, as well as some of those stars. I tried to use the darker red ones, because in the photo, you can't really tell on camera here because my lighting's being a bit funny today. It's because I have so much white everywhere. I need to get a different background piece, I think. But I tried to use the red just because it tied in a little bit more with my top, and you can see I successfully navigated around the horrible green on this paper and most of the orange. I was able to avoid it and kind of go more for the whites, turquoise and corals, which is more my cup of tea. And then I'm just grabbing my scissors. I've misplaced my giant gold scissors. Oh boy, my craft room is looking like a bomb's hit it at the moment. I think I might, maybe to give me some more motivation, I might film a clean up my craft room, reorganize supplies video with me over here for Patreon, just to kind of give me a bit more of a goal, because otherwise I just don't clean up, and then I just add more and more things to the piles, and the avalanches, or the craft avalanches as I like to call them, just keep getting bigger and things just fall. So I think I might do a bit of a clean with me video, and I can help give you guys some motivation if your area needs a little bit of a spring cleaning. I use this white. I've been really trying to use up some of my word thickers. This is an older set, I think Amy Tan, probably a couple of years ago, and it says seriously. And because I was feeling quite unimaginative, I put seriously smitten with you. I think that's what I call it. I did have a lot of struggles with thickers with this, because although I have a lot of thickers, I have a butt ton of thickers, there's a lot of them that I don't like, and I really need to do something about that and get them out of my stash and use them for something else, because they're just sitting there. And then the ones that I do like, I'm running out of letters. So for example, these ones that I absolutely are my favorites of all time, I've run out of T's, and I've run out of, could be S's maybe. I've run out of a couple of significant letters, so I'm struggling because they are my go-to ones, of course. I decided for something a little bit different. I'm trying to be a bit creative with my journaling for this class that I'm teaching, and I decided to do my journaling around the outside of my pictures. Whenever I say round the outside, I think of that Eminem song, and I just go round the outside, round the outside. I hope someone knows that reference and I'm not just singing to myself in a microphone at home on the couch, just singing to no one. I'm adding my journaling here, and I had almost enough to fill up the space, but I just did some dots just to make it work and fit in. And then I'm adding my doodly border, and I was contemplating, do I go through the circles or do I just leave it as is and I thought about it for a while, and then I decided to go through the circles because I felt like it needed that to kind of bring it all together, but I didn't go over the circles. So if there were circles hanging off the edge, I didn't, I stopped, and then I started again on the other side. Shake, 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 shake your hearty shine. Shake your hearty shine. I decided to add a little star cluster down here I always like to trickle the embellishments down to the opposite corner from where they all are clustered. I feel like it just makes your layout look a little bit more cohesive, and just kind of brings it all, the whole shebang together. So I'm adding some hearty shine here, there, and literally everywhere. As many places as I could. I got it on Aaron's head, I got it on his neck, I got it everywhere, and that one's done. So I really love how this one turned out. Out of the two of them, I think this might be my favorite, just because I think the colors, I was surprised that I didn't think the colors were going to go with these photos. I was thinking that this wasn't going to work and I may have to refilm the whole thing, but it did seem to work. Now, I creased my cardboard, and I only got given one piece of this. Well, I got 2 pieces, but I've used one, of course, for that last layout. So I just had to roll with it, crease cardboard and all. I was trying to work out if I could have the cardstock in a way that I could cover the crease with the photo, but it wasn't going to work, and so I just had to roll with it, and I'm okay with that. I decided to add, I matted this one the exact same way, so it's got white tissue paper, and then I think this one has a dictionary page, a dot grid page, and then a little bit of that word paper in the back. And then I just added a bit of extra tissue paper because it kind of needed a bit of color, and I know silver isn't really a dominant color, it is very neutral, but it needed something, and so a little bit of tissue paper helped. This is just cheap dollar tissue paper from my local $2 shop, or probably $2 tissue paper really, and I just decided to go with it. Now when I do my heart, it's very wonky because my page is wonky, and I do fix it in the end, don't worry. I'm grabbing my Scotch tacky glue and doing a heart, and then I decided I don't like it, so I'm just wipe it off with my finger and fix it again, and I don't like it again, and I'm going to fix that bottom in a moment. Now here, as you can see, I'm just sticking and plonking. Don't think about it, just let your brain kind of zone out. And the only thing I did was I made sure that I didn't put 2 of the same pattern paper together. I added some gold stars in there, and some of the graph paper I also punched out, and all I did was just stick them down as long as it wasn't the same as the one next to it, and I kind of tried to make them spaced out, at least 3 in between the same patterns. I felt that that was a nice number to do it. So I'm just sticking them down, and it's a little bit therapeutic to just stick and plonk and not worry about where things are going, to just have the glue down already and not have to adhere every single one individually. I know it's probably not the best way to, I probably wasted a tiny bit of glue, but in the long run it was so much easier. I do in the end actually end up doodling a couple of the stars. Some of those paler ones just need a little extra something to make them feel a bit alive. Here I am trying to use up the leftover word thickers again. In the class that I'm teaching, the peeps have to bring their own alphas or their own thickers, and so I know that there's some words thickers of some sort available in the shop that is at the retreat, so I thought using the words might be a good idea because you may be able to find them at the retreat. Sticking it all down. Let me know. I don't think there's any of my Patreon peeps going to this retreat. By the time you're seeing this video, I'm probably there right now. I think I'm making this video for the 10th. I should be anyway, and so I'm at the retreat right now. Not right now, obviously I was filming it, but right now, not right now while I'm voiceovering. I'm at home now, but when this video goes up, I had huge issues here. Huge issues, and I think I cut most of it out, but I wanted to use these gold thickers desperately, and like I was saying before, I'm out of all of the key letters. I was out of E's on this one, and then there was another sheet that were nice, but I was out of T's, and I just couldn't work out how I could spell a word that works with this. So I did want to have celebrate their love today, but there was no Y's, and Y is a hard letter to fake and to make again. I had looked at it and I thought there were Y's, but I don't know what I was looking at, but it obviously wasn't the Y's because there's no Y's there. And I'm like, Adele, what did you do? You're a fool. So then I take that off and put them back on the sticker sheet and go and try and find another one. Has anyone else done this? I know that you can Frankenstein different letters, and I do end up doing it with these ones. So here again, I tried to do the today. I was going to do celebrate their love today and forever, and there's no E's. So I decided to use 3's for my E's, and then I realized that there's 2 R's in forever and I only have 1, which is the next step of disasterness. And then I realized I can use a B, but the B is different, and I realized there's an ampersand and I forgot to put it in, and I wasn't having good luck with my titles for this video. But that's real life, and I go with my gut a lot, which is a great thing for getting layouts done quickly, and it's a great thing for not feeling guilty about your layouts and umming and ahhing about things. But it also can suck when you don't plan stuff and you end up with problems like this. So a little bit of planning is good, but it worked out in the end. I used B's for the R's, but I had to do both of the R's as B's because the other R, the curvature of the R was different. So now I'm adding a bit of a diddly border just to kind of bring this all in, because for me, it's a very plain layout. I am teaching both of these in 2.5 hours to an entire room of, I think it's about 25 people, I think. And I have a feeling I'm on the main stage and doing it from a distance, I think. So it's a little bit tricky to make it too complex with mixed media. I think it's just easier to do paper layouts when I'm teaching with so many people and don't have to worry about heat guns going and all of that jazz. I decided I needed some sort of embellishments, and with this retreat I think people are bringing their own stash, bringing their own stickers to the class. So I did decide to add just a few little embellishments because it needed something. It was, some people may like it that plain, but it was just far too plain for me. Time for some Hardy Shine. Shake, 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 shake your Hardy Shine, shake your Hardy Shine, and then a couple of little sprinkles up here because I had that in the original and I really loved how it looks, so I wanted to replicate that again. I did my journaling off camera because I was just writing, and I think having the journaling in this heart is just so, there's a hand very close to the camera. It's such a focal point, and I'm really interested in trying to do some more layouts that have journaling as a focus point. Not necessarily a lot of journaling, not necessarily a lot of journaling, but just to do it in interesting ways rather than just writing a sentence under the photo, which I do all the time, and I love that as well. It's just nice to try and change it up. Here I was trying to purposely put some large dots of Hardy Shine over the crease, and you can't see it from here really at this angle, but you can see it a lot in person. You can really see it a lot, but you kind of got to just go with it, and I wasn't going to start this whole thing again. Plus I needed to use this cardstock because it's the one that they're getting in the class. So I think I'm almost all finished. I'm just kind of figuring out if I need to add any other embellishments. Archie's having a great time. I think he's having a bit of a play in the kitchen, if you can hear him. I'm outlining a few of these stars, like I said, just with my Staedtler pigment liner. I just felt like it needed a bit of extra something. And I did just cut out a lot of that doodling of the stars because my giant noggin was in the way. But the jazz hands are up, so I'm all done. I do cut off the side of that butterfly too. But that's the original, and that's my scrap lift of my own layout. I really love how it looks. It's different. It has got a pop of green, which isn't usually my thing, but I thought it went really well with my bestie's dress. My glue's still wet there, you can see. But yeah, it's just a nice simple layout, and it kind of shows you how you can use your punches in a different way. Archie's extremely excited about listening to punches. But I just, something a little bit different. So these are the two layouts that I'll be making at the class. I'll let you know how it goes. I probably will do either a video or a blog post with what I get up to and talking a little bit more about the retreat. But until then, have a lovely crafty week, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.